one thing that folks think colorism is just an African American or a black thing. If you look at Asian culture, if you look at Indian culture, colorism has its roots deeply rooted with people of color.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long history of colorism, and it actually predates colonialism. So you'll find in cultures, Asian cultures, African cultures, a preference for lighter skin, probably as an economic issue, so that wealthy people could stay inside out of the sun working, and that your typical laborer had to be outside working in the sun, and so they got dark. And so having fair skin relative to the rest of the community, lighter shaded skin, was a sign of wealth. After colonization, so after Europe goes in and colonizes and exploits people from around the world, they, of course, are the wealthy and the privileged.
The Latino community's idolization of lighter skin also originates with the influence of European colonists. In 1535, the Spanish created their first viceroyalty known as New Spain to govern its conquered lands in the New World. As a result of European Spaniards procreating with Native Americans in New Spain, the mestizo, mulatto, and other mixed-race Latinos were born.
Individuals were likely to be more privileged within the slave community. There are many instances also where they would be sent to foreign countries and educated.
Lighter-skinned workers were put in better housing conditions. They had worked in the house, which was not as strenuous as far as like the activities that they had to do. And black, darker-skinned workers were treated just piss poor, the worst possible way. And that has just translated into the current system of colorism we have, where black people inherently did it to themselves, and we continue to do it to ourselves.
You can't get into institutions unless you can pass the paper bag test, where your skin shade is lighter than a paper bag, or churches that will put a comb on the door, and if you can't get the comb through your hair, these are black churches and black schools saying you're not welcome if you don't have European characteristics that mark you. People are dramatically affected by race in the media.
I was a production assistant, got promoted to producer and on-air talent for a show called Teen Summit. So we had a 6-segment show. There were 4 segments of the topic or subject matter, and then we had 2 segments of live performances. And so we did everything from looking at race relations to teen pregnancy, teen drug abuse, how to get into college. We had a whole array of kids on that show, and that was one of the whole points, is for them to be able to be on a show where kids could look at them and see kids that look just like them, representing them and doing great things. That was our purpose.
They're gonna go out and buy food. So I mean, I'm responsible. I'm in a position where I can affect their mentality.
Because the media is around us all the time. It's in the movies we watch, the television, it's in the music we listen to. Right. I mean, we can't help but to kind of follow what we see in front of us every day.
It's subliminal.
Right, you know?
Being someone who was brown and being at a network that was for and about black people, it was like the elephant in the room. And I remember when there were 3 brown girls on the network doing different shows, and people, you would go out in the community and people were just in shock because they were like, well, you know, it's a rarity to see a brown person, a dark-skinned person on TV. And I think that was one of my first just really aha moments in terms of colorism and how we view one another, how we cast people. And it's definitely a lot different now. Things have changed. But having a hard news background, when I was in college and being a news reporter, I felt it then too.
You see leading roles with black people in it, they are almost always lighter skinned individuals. I mean, like, if you just look at the people who broke barriers, Dorothy Dandridge, Halle Berry, I mean, these women were put at the centerfold of things, and they're all lighter skinned. You can't get away from it as far as like who's getting attention from what guys, what type of guys, like what. I mean, like in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, most of Will's girlfriends are like these light-skinned pretty girls with long hair. So I can't think of just off the top of my head because it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Whites really are pretty oblivious. Colorism is something fairly recent, even to me, to be aware of. You know, that I was probably working in the field for, I don't know, 10 years.
We've come a long way, but I think we still have some challenges. And some of those challenges are internally within the community of people of color. And then, you know, another layer to those challenges, or addressing those challenges, is looking at how white America views Black people, Black beauty, Black excellence, intellect, whether it's light or dark.
If you're going to have cast members who are, you know, from different backgrounds, have different skin colors, have a couple of episodes about the issue, you know, and then like, I can't expect much from major mainstream news, but you know, just like having more of a discussion on it, not just showing it, not just making it an example, but actually talking about it and showing the implications of it, I think will definitely start a conversation.